What's going on, fellow A-plussers? It is your host, Adam Perez, joined once again by my co-host, Datila, here for WrestleManiacs podcast,
Hey.
baby. We got ourselves a brand new episode for you here on Hero Report Network. It is so good to see all of you today. We got some big news that we're just going to dive into, Datila, because WWE Smackdown was quite the episode yesterday. I personally didn't get the opportunity to watch the full episode of SmackDown. I literally just wind up seeing clips and moments of just what sort of happened at the end. But you had the opportunity to watch it. Am I correct?
Yes, always.
We had a huge surprise return from The Rock as he wind up coming in and having a face-to-face with Roman Reigns here. There's a huge setup as to how this certainly happened. Look, this is not the first time that we've seen The Rock on WWE recently, right? He was just back a couple before Royal Rumble talking about where should he sit at the head of the table, right? Really amping up this possible confrontation between Roman Reigns and himself. And it really left a lot of us kind of bewildered with some questions as to what direction is WWE sort of really taking here, because we know that Cody Rhodes certainly still has his story to finish. Homeboy literally won the 2023 and the 2024 Royal Rumble back to back. It's been like 20 plus years since anybody's done it. If there's any time for this man to finish the story, we all thought WrestleMania 40 was certainly going to be it. But Datila, talk to us a little bit about what happened on SmackDown that really kind of just threw a wrench in those plans for now. But what happened?
Well, first off, I have to say, yeah, it was because of Cody that you won predictions because you correctly guessed the number.
This
You
is true.
just randomly chose 15, and that just so happened to be the number that Cody came out at.
Yeah, I'll pat myself on the back. I was blown away by that, honestly, myself too. I was jumping around the house, so excited, trying to tell my girlfriend what just happened. But yeah, it was pretty impressive. But so tell us, Datila, because we did have Cody Rhodes come out first to confront Roman and take it away from there.
Okay, so basically, Roman cut a promo, which he pretty much buried Seth Rollins in the World Heavyweight title. And so, like, afterwards, Cody Rhodes came out. And he basically said that he agreed with some of the things that Seth Rollins said, but he also disagreed. He said that he still wants the title. And he said that all of this, the crowd, the ring, everything, it all belongs to Roman. And that he wants to take that all away from Roman. And he's taking the title. He says that he's coming for Roman. And this was the interesting part. He said he's coming for Roman, but not at WrestleMania. And that he got
What?
counsel from someone who knows Reigns very well. And then that's when The Rock comes out. And he comes out, he shakes Cody's hand, gives him a hug, whispers something into his ear. He walks away, and then Roman and The Rock have a stare down.
So let's look. I just want to pull up some images here real quick because I just thought this moment in the ring was so incredibly telling, right? Because you're absolutely right. Cody Rhodes says, "Hey, I got somebody here." The Rock comes out. These two men, they standing on opposite sides of the ring. Rock gives him the handshake and things like that. Pulls homeboy in. It's a nice moment here. Look at the smile, and then the smile immediately turns to just dejection.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cody Rhodes's plans just went down the toilet, and then we wind up having these two men sort of facing off with one another. Cody Rhodes could not hide his expressions of disappointment on his face at all. I thought that we had some great shots in the ring of just Cody on one side and the back of the Rock's head on the other. And you can clearly see in Cody's eyes that this is not the direction that he thought his WrestleMania was certainly going to go. Even him walking out of the ring, he looked like he lost somebody that he truly cared about. I mean, it just looked like an opportunity was kind of pulled away from him. We have more news though that has wind up emerging. PWInsider wind up releasing a pretty eye-opening article that really hints as to maybe some of the sources that they've gotten, some things that they've heard behind the scenes that really might shed some light on this whole situation that we're going to be breaking down for you guys and really giving our perspective on what truly is going on here. But I do want to put a disclaimer before this because there's a reason why I didn't want to tweet so much yesterday when this happened, because WWE has been on such a great creative storytelling role that it is one of those things where if there's anybody that can pull swerves, that can misdirect. I mean, you saw all the red herrings that they gave us before Royal Rumble, right? We had CM Punk talk about he's going to main event WrestleMania. We've had Drew kind of pushing his own story. Gunther approaching Seth saying, hey, I'm going to win the Royal Rumble and challenge you, sort of thing, right? So they have a way of throwing out red herrings and maybe kind of switching course or pulling a swerve on us. So there is a lot to certainly still be determined. But I do believe, if anything, they've kind of, I don't want to say they've officially announced The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania 40, but I think even Triple H came out and mentioned something like that today. And I think there's even a press conference this upcoming Thursday. Am I right?
Yeah, it's expected that Roman versus Reigns is going to be announced at that press conference.
Right. So it is expected to certainly be that way. And I also just want to put another disclaimer in that before we even get into this, I am a fan of The Rock. You know, I really do appreciate Dwayne The Rock Johnson and everything that he's certainly done for WWE. I grew up watching this guy, extremely electrifying. Anytime he's back, I welcome this dude with open arms. But there's some things that I think certainly needs to be said about the situation that The Rock finds himself, whether it's his intent for something else to happen or if he truly feels this way, that we're really going to go ahead and get into. So, Datila, let's go ahead and bring up this article and really get down to it. This comes to us from PWInsider. So, what happened to the WrestleMania main event picture? The Rock. This is from Mike Johnson, who wrote this article. He says numerous WWE sources have concurred that the decision to go with The Rock versus Roman Reigns weekend, expected to be officially announced this Thursday, was pushed by The Rock to move into the Mania main event, which was backed up by TKO Group holding executives. So immediately they say their sources tell them it was The Rock that was certainly pushing this. But why would The Rock certainly go ahead and do that? It says while WWE had been expertly building Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns rematch, some sources believe it was done by Johnson to, as one source stated, save WrestleMania. After CM Punk got injured and the whole Brock Lesnar debacle were taken off the board for the biggest weekend of the year. Others believe that The Rock pushed for the move and likely would have, no matter what, given his massive $30 million stock payday is in part contingent of him hitting certain milestones. Sources familiar with the situation believe one of those milestones was Johnson returning to the ring this year, and that Johnson pushed for the match to happen sooner than later with the idea he felt Reigns versus The Rock was the far bigger attraction of the company. It says, so it's very possible that no matter who was injured or not, Cody versus Reigns would not have taken place because The Rock was back in the game and the most important members of the company management were going to acquiesce to Dwayne Johnson's ideas. They were going to bow the knee and listen to Dwayne Johnson's ideas. It says, with Johnson's power as the member of the TKO board of directors, his Hollywood standing, and the backing of Ari Emanuel, Nick Khan, and others, the decision was made to go with Rock versus Reigns as the headline bout, believing it would be a greater attraction for the mainstream and also push some positive momentum for the company. I will continue this article here in just a little bit, but I want to get your thoughts on this, Datila. The idea that that The Rock is the one that wind up pushing this, possibly in an attempt to save WrestleMania. What needed to be saved? I personally don't know. I really don't think the injury to CM Punk, while it definitely was a blow, and the idea of Brock Lesnar and everything that's being revealed with his connection with Vince McMahon and the lawsuit and things like that. I don't think either of those would have derailed WrestleMania 40 from being great based off of just all the incredible storylines that they've kind of built up so far. But let me ask you, how do you feel about this and the idea that people really wanted The Rock to get back into the ring this year?
I think I've mentioned this before somewhere on one of the videos. You just gotta find it. Remember I said that if Rock versus Roman was gonna happen at Mania, Cody should face a Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. But
Right, you did
that
mention
that
that.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. So I wouldn't have had a problem with Rock versus Roman if Rock was in the Royal Rumble and won. I wouldn't have had a problem with that. I wouldn't have liked it, but I would have been accepted it and been like, okay, it makes sense. They're gonna do Roman versus Rock. Let's just get this over with. It's the execution that I have a problem with. Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble, and here comes The Rock using his power and his influence to steal Cody's main event spot. You
Yeah,
know,
it's oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say they don't know what to do with Rollins. Really, Rollins versus Cody. We've seen that before. They're into rewriting history, right? They could have done WrestleMania 6, Intercontinental Champion versus the world title again. There's so many. I guess they just felt that they wanted The Rock versus Roman, which was bigger. Okay, fine. The Rock should have won the Royal Rumble. It's just the fact that Cody won and he's getting pushed to the side. You know, so
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think the optics of all this just really look bad in regards to just the execution, like you mentioned. Because listen, you're right. We have talked about the idea of Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania, and the idea of Cody eventually getting his title shot at SummerSlam. And there are sources that are coming out and saying that could possibly be the plan. That now Cody's possibly going to face Seth, wind up winning the world title, then maybe a unification bout at SummerSlam. And to me, it does not make sense to me on several levels here, okay? Because one, we've seen, like you mentioned, we've seen Seth and Cody 3 times already, and Cody has beat him 3 times in a row, mind you, with a torn pectoral muscle. So what does it make me think that a fourth time is certainly going to be any different? I've seen this match 3 times. There's just no hype for me there in regards to a buildup of a story. Now, I think Seth did a great job of trying to convince Cody this past weekend on Monday, like, this is probably the belt that Dusty Rhodes probably would pick because it's a workman's title, but I do not want to see that match again. And then also the idea of another unification match. Didn't we just do this with all these belts? Isn't that one of the reasons we just created the World Heavyweight Championship, so it could be a separate title? And look, I do think Cody would be the type of person that's like, look, I've got this title, I've got this title. I can see Cody doing the right thing and giving people opportunities and just saying, hey, I'm going to keep this belt. This one could possibly be up for a tournament. So I do think that there is a route that you can go to where Cody eventually does finish the story, right? Like, Cody finishing his story is not necessarily the issue. The issue is it should be done at WrestleMania 40. The man won the Royal Rumble. He should pick whoever he wants to. And it's a damn shame that somebody can come along and kind of push him out of this situation. And I've said this before in our messenger. Hollywood WrestleMania was the perfect layup for The Rock versus Roman Reigns. And I don't care how busy this man was. I don't know. He just had a huge flop when it comes to, maybe not a huge flop, but he had certainly a flop at the box office. When it comes to Black Adam, the movie certainly was not received very well. I thought it was going to be a really great PR sort of opportunity for him to then, like, you know what? People love me in the ring. Let me get in shape. Let me get ready to go ahead and get back into the ring and be ready for WrestleMania. I know he's a busy man, but I honestly think this match should have happened last year, unfortunately, Datila.
I agree with you. It was perfect. WrestleMania went Hollywood again. Who's the biggest? One of the biggest Hollywood stars?
The
Dwayne.
Rock. Yeah.
Dwayne. It would have made the most sense. And then we would have got a Roman versus Rock. That's over with. Cody wins the Rumble. He's gonna beat Roman. Perfect. And I'm not buying this whole Cody versus Roman at SummerSlam. You want to know why? Because SummerSlam is in August. If Roman holds the belt till September, he surpasses Hulk Hogan. You really think he's going to lose at SummerSlam, only being a month away from breaking Hulk Hogan's record? Nah, Cody Rhodes is going to finish the story at WrestleMania 41 now, night 2.
Cody Rhodes is going to be a 3-time Royal Rumble winner at this point, just to get his opportunity again. And look, the article really emphasizes the idea here that The Rock has power now, right? He's already a big megastar. I have no doubt that WrestleMania 40 is going to be huge. It's going to be a huge financial success. The Rock is going to get a major payday. TKO is going to get a major payday. But at what cost to the rest of the roster and the people that are on there. Yes, they're going to get the spotlight and the shine, but when WWE has been so great creatively in building up these storylines, you got to have things that are just going to punch you in the face at WrestleMania, things that are going to be kind of unpredictable. And I feel like this makes Mania a little bit more predictable. And so for me, my thing is, look, I fully almost expect The Rock to just eat this pin. And at the end of the day, if he eats a pin, who does that benefit besides TKO and Roman Reigns' legacy? You know what I mean? And outside of that, I don't think anybody else really gets a W from this. And so my concern for this is The Rock and the power that he certainly now has. The fact that people at the TKO are just allowing this to happen, to worry and think that this is sort of their saving grace. Because, you know, at one point in time, Datila, The Rock thought he was the saving grace for something else. And you know what that was? The DC universe, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Let me just refresh some people's memories as to what really went down when it comes to the Black Adam situation and The Rock. This is from Yahoo Finance. I don't even remember what the date on this is. March 22nd of last year. It says The Rock reportedly bent DC Studios to his will and ultimately got himself and Henry Cavill fired while tanking the next superhero movie at the box office. It goes on to say that that turns out Dwayne The Rock Johnson, also known as The Rock, reportedly pressured DC Studios on creative decisions when he made his long awaited debut in the comic book movie genre. This was reported by The Wrap, which, if we want to go back to the article for The Wrap, just for a brief headline at least, The Wrap themselves, let me go ahead and pull this up. The headline says how Dwayne Johnson kneecapped Black Adam and Shazam 2 while trying to take over DC. This is an exclusive. And some people might even say he probably tried to do the same thing to the Fast and the Furious franchise. When he wind up coming on board, he had friction with Vin. The man wanted to have a spotlight, and he wind up getting himself an actual spin-off movie at the end of the day. The Rock lately has really been throwing his power around. It says Johnson's plan of becoming the apex of the DC universe backfired in a matter of months with when both he and Henry Cavill were unceremoniously sacked last December by DC Studios. Now, the latest offering from the DC bombed so badly that some critics thought it didn't make a mark. And it goes on to say that Johnson reportedly turned down the idea of sharing screen space with Levi in a post-credit scene, typically a short yet important snippet. It says when promoting Black Adam, Johnson promoted his face-off with Superman, played by Cavill, undermining Shazam in the public. It says Dwayne tries to sell himself as bigger than the movie. Instead of making a movie, he wants to extend his brand and make a brand centered on himself. These are reports coming out of Hollywood when this happened. And granted, The Rock doing this did not bomb Black Adam and Shazam. They just were not that good of a movie. But you get to see the influence that this man certainly had behind the scenes. And the idea that it makes me go to what is the intent of Dwayne The Rock Johnson at this point. This is from Fortune.com back in, again, March 22nd. The Rock reportedly bent DC Studios to his will and ultimately got himself and Henry Cavill fired. I mean, the list goes on and on, guys, in regards to just the idea of, does The Rock look at himself as a brand that is now bigger than the WWE? And now he feels like because he's got this power, because TKO has given him this power, they're just going to listen to his ideas, and his ideas might be better than others. Like, that just rubs me the wrong way. And the fact that he is an executive on the TKO board is even worse, that the man who's an executive then comes in and takes a spot from a wrestler that's been working 200 days out of the year, or however 200 matches that this dude, however many matches Cody Rhodes has been doing. That just rubs me the wrong way of not only corrupt, I don't want to say corruption might be too much of a strong word, but just using your power for a very negative influence to simply benefit yourself and your board members and maybe your shareholders at the end of the day. And so it does make me wonder, did The Rock really want to save WrestleMania? Or does he just want to save the lining of their wallets? And maybe that's bold for me to say, but I do feel like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, as shown in some of the headlines, has a tendency of maybe allowing that to happen. Am I crazy, Datila, in making that connection?
No, you're not crazy. You're not. And I do think that you have a great point. Um, if the Rock, if I see the thing is like, when did he become a board member again? Was it before or after the Rumble? It was
I
before,
want to say it was
right?
before the Rumble. Yeah, I want to say it was before.
So I'm so surprised he didn't put himself in the Rumble if that's the case. Like my thing is like, if The Rock thinks he should win the title, does that mean he'll beat Roman and take the title just because he feels like, oh, it's gonna be great for himself?
I think that would be bananas. I think that would be bananas. I mean, I think that would be definitely going into business for yourself. Maybe even, I feel like this is already him going into business for himself. Because again, I don't think WrestleMania 40 even needed to be saved.
No.
I think you've got Seth that has a great opponent, possibly in Gunther, especially in Drew, maybe, right? I think you have avenues you can easily explore. And Cody and Roman, I think, would have been a fantastic main event in Philadelphia, the home of the Liberty Bell and the Declaration of Independence, the American Nightmare. Like, it is set up for Cody Rhodes to have this spot. And again, I am a big Rock fan. I know that there are so many people out there that chanting Rocky, hell, I probably would have been in the audience on SmackDown chanting the same thing because Homeboy's in the building with me, right? I love the dude, but sometimes the execution, like you mentioned, Datala, and the optics of it can just really hurt you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I do.
Um,
Like I said, if The Rock would have been in the Rumble and he would have won, I wouldn't have liked it, but I would have been okay with it and I would have accepted it because it was we were gonna get Roman versus Rock. I just don't like the fact that he used his power to kind of steal the spotlight from Cody Rhodes and basically stole his WrestleMania main event spot.
Yeah, it just feels wrong to me. But let's go back to the WW the PW Insider, because again, the reason why I wanted to bring up the DC stuff is because one source compared to Johnson's attempts to taking over the overall creative for the DC film franchise, noting that he came in originally as an actor to portray Black Adam, but by the time the process was done, has changed the original trajectory for the plans for playing the opposition of Shazam. Instead of pushing that Adam should have his own film so he could eventually be set up to face Superman instead, and went over the heads of executives to their superiors to get ideas approved. Johnson's long game was to gain control of the entire DC film franchise, only to lose that attempt when Warner Brothers Discovery gave that power instead to James Gunn and Peter Safran. This is a repeat offender, y'all. Was it fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, fool me three times? It's not going to happen again. I don't even know if that's how it goes, but no, we have to open our eyes and understand what's going on here. It says, but in WWE, there isn't going to be anyone that's not going to at least consider Dwayne Johnson's ideas. He's The Rock and has a big history of selling tickets and merchandise and movies. And at the end of the day, WrestleMania is about spectacle, and The Rock equals spectacle. Absolutely. Again, I totally get it, but it does not mean that this does not feel icky and wrong on so many different levels. Um, it says PW Insider is told that it wasn't done to target and political Cody out of his main event out of malice, but out of the belief that Johnson was the best idea to make money now and respect his new position with the company's parent company. This was a strategic move to give Johnson more political power overall and to show Endeavor's faith in his involvement, and that even Paul Levesque, who has done an admirable job, would lose that power struggle with Johnson at this point. You see, they even say Datila, they even say The Rock has more power and influence than Triple H does right now. Is that crazy to you?
Yeah, that is crazy to me.
That even if Triple H were to speak up, they'd be like, "Nah, we're probably gonna go with Dwayne's idea here." Is that bananas?
Yeah, it is. I wonder though. I wonder if DC would have given him power, like the power that he wanted. I wonder if this would have even happened.
Probably not. No, probably not. I mean, who
Damn
knows?
DC.
I mean, who knows?
No offense to DC, but like still.
It says one source confirmed that former senior vice president of development, Brian Gerwitz, Gerwitz, yeah, is will be in the mix as the voice representing Johnson in the WWE creative process going forward. Like, he's not Johnson's not even in the meeting room. Like, he's got somebody to represent him. Like, what? He says there are some who believe Gerwitz, uh, I'm probably butchering his name, who at one point was the longest tenured WWE head writer, will be around physically, at least for major shows going forward, could even be there as a plan B if Endeavor ever needs to pivot WWE's direction and go with a Johnson back creative team down the line.
Yeah, Five Plus Select just posted an update too. I was trying to read it, but it's kind of long.
What did Fightful say just now?
Oh, hold on. I'm trying to, because it said that the working plan originally was Roman versus Cody, Seth versus Punk, and Punk was supposed to win at Elimination Chamber and stuff. They said that nobody they spoke to could make the order of the operations make sense, but many were hopeful that WWE and TKO would see the reaction and pivot. You could see many of the reactions we've garnered below. Those that we spoke to said The Rock had not only pushed to work the match, some thought he was even pushing to win the match.
God. That's bananas.
Regardless of what the finish will be, multiple sources said that they viewed this as a political move that TKO believes will result in more immediate money than would have been with Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Sources within TKO swore this wasn't done out of malice, which is what Mike Johnson said.
No,
Stuff like that.
I don't think it's done out of malice. I think it's done out of greed. And I think the greed is we want to line our pockets more because we have The Rock here than we think we can financially do with Cody. And I just don't think that's when you start putting greed ahead of your creative decisions, the people that are working and busting their ass, to me, that's just wrong. Like it's the idea that this company, now that it's under the brand of TKO, is very much being run more like a sporting event, like a boxing and a MMA show might be handled, to see like what the biggest marquee matches could possibly be in order to create the biggest buzz. And look, as an executive, that's probably what your main intention is. You know what I mean? But you have invested people so much in these storylines that you have to rely on the buildup of your creative team to get WrestleMania 40 to be the big marquee event that you certainly need it to be. WrestleMania is going to make them a buttload of money, regardless if The Rock was there or not. But it's the greed, I think, that they're like, you know what? Maybe we can make an extra $5 million here, maybe an extra $10 million here. And at the end of the day, the only people it's going to benefit is TKO, Endeavor, The Rock, and their shareholders. And unfortunately, the fans have to scratch their head as to what is going on here. But I do want to finish a little bit more of this PWInsider here. It says, this morning, if perhaps Johnson was going to be the plan all along, but he hadn't committed until late in the game. It says WWE talent privately wondered if this morning, if perhaps Johnson was going to be the plan all along, but he hadn't committed until late in the game, which made him wonder where CM Punk would have been positioned had he not torn his tricep, and whether that injury prevented Punk from learning he too would have lost that WrestleMania main event slot.
Oh, Punk would have been pissed because it happened. That would have been the second time that he would have lost his WrestleMania main event to The Rock.
It says there's no way to ever wonder to know that, but it was something that has to be pondered given how WWE quickly turned the creative direction for Johnson. As far as the future of Cody, the current plan is for him to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40, a direction change that a lot of readers we've heard from resent, given that he's been pushing to finish the story all year. For Rhodes as a character to then have that moment in the reach and not choose Roman Reigns for WrestleMania is silly. It says beating Seth for the title doesn't end Rhodes' story, especially since he's publicly stated that he needs to win the title that his father um, held and hadn't taken away from that story to the end. He said, I don't think anyone, especially privately, would deny that within WWE, forces beyond Rhodes' control change the board game. And that's the reality of the new WWE. The old rules don't matter, and Endeavor is going to do what they believe will maximize their business, and their choices may indeed prove to be correct, even if they are unpopular with the audience that has been ravenously following Cody and his support over the past several years. It says the reality is, while the story was primed to climax at WrestleMania 40, there were already some of the company openly talking about the idea of Cody winning the World Heavyweight Championship and then challenging the winner at SummerSlam in the title unification. Um, I mean, look, man, I will let you guys read the rest of it for yourselves if you want to.
It's a
That's
long article.
yeah, it's a long article. It's a PWInsider. If you guys want to go ahead and find the article for yourself, I might even go ahead and put a link in the description box below, man. But look, this is very much a business decision. The Rock has gained power. He has influenced people behind the scenes to believe that he is the only one that can save the WWE universe and this WrestleMania main event in order to allow WrestleMania to really line the pockets and get the maximum amount out of it that you possibly can. And while I think he is not wrong in that regards, because I do believe, yes, he will boost the marquee, I do think that he is wrong in the execution and the way that this comes across, because you've tried this before, Rock, in other franchises. You've been turned down, and now this is an opportunity for you to be back in the spotlight again. And I just think, and especially as a wrestler, I would think that he would allow these other wrestlers to truly shine and get their spotlight. But at the end of the day, he's going to be the one that's in the ring. Hey, my little man.
No.
Hi. Yeah, so give me your thoughts on all this, Datila.
Well, first of all, cute, cute, so cute.
Say hi, Noah.
Noah wants to give his A+ opinions too.
Yeah, you want to let everybody know?
I know.
Yeah, let everybody know. Right.
Anywho, if this is the way they're gonna go, Roman versus Rock, Roman should win. Please, for the love of God, I hope The Rock does not influence his power to win the match. I really hope he doesn't. Oh, and I also hope that The Rock is training really hard to give the best match ever, because if he doesn't, that match is gonna suck. And I would feel sorry for everybody who paid their hard-earned money to see that match and to go to WrestleMania just to get a 5-minute crappy match.
Yeah, I hope it's not. I hope it's not like that. I mean, I personally have enjoyed some of Roman's matches for sure. I didn't really care so much for the Fatal 4-Way and Royal Rumble, but I do think that the storyline of the head of the table is an intriguing one. I do wish that the buildup was more properly done than what it is. So again, I don't want people to be mistaken. While I am disappointed in this is a match that I've been wanting to see since last year. I just truly hate the execution and the idea that Cody Rhodes is certainly losing a spot, because again, while they say it's not politics and malice, I do think it's greed. And I think that's just as worse as those other two. However, they certainly want to go ahead and spin this type of story. And when you hear the sources and the things behind the scenes talking about the influence and the power that even The Rock might even be more of an influence than what Triple H is, to me, that is certainly a little bit worrisome. And so I didn't make this video with the intent of dragging The Rock's name in the dirt, but I do think it needs to be said and shown to people the idea that there's maybe more to this than simply saving WrestleMania. And my eyes would be, what does saving WrestleMania truly mean to them? Is it just getting the biggest paycheck? And some people would be like, yeah, Adam, that's business. And you know what? I totally respect and I get that. I understand capitalism 100%. But at the detriment of your employees, the detriment of the people that watch your content, that fully spend week to week following the creative decisions and the directions that these characters go, to kind of just have your influence thrusted in there and kind of shake up everything. And people could say, was CM Punk getting injured and the Vince McMahon thing? No, 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 no. WWE was in a prime position regardless of having a bonkers WrestleMania 40 regardless. I think this is, unfortunately, at the end of the day, just an excuse, just another excuse. So it does take my thrill a little bit out of what's to come with WrestleMania. I'm still gonna watch. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
At the end of
still
the
gonna
day,
watch. But I just think that this is the wrong direction personally.
I feel like at the end of the day, everyone's still going to watch. We're all going to sit down and watch this match. But I do agree. I wouldn't have mind Rock versus Roman if The Rock was in the Rumble. I would not have minded. It's just about the execution. It's the way they went about it. Like if The Rock really wanted this match, he should have pushed for himself to be in the Rumble, win the whole damn thing, and then go on to face Roman. That's it. It's just so what's gonna happen next year? So like what? So is The Rock gonna just use his power to put himself in the main event of WrestleMania anytime he feels like it?
I mean, hey man, who knows? Yeah, like the article says, right? This is a new WWE. This feels to me like it's being run like a boxing organization or MMA sort of thing. They get the biggest and baddest sort of matches that you can on a card at any particular time, even if it's to the detriment of people that are really working hard to kind of be on this card. Maybe that's not totally new when it comes to WWE or just wrestling in general, but it is an aspect of the business that truly sucks at the end of the day. But look, while we say all of this, it's interesting to me that the video of what happened on SmackDown wind up getting more dislikes, I think, than actual likes, which is kind of bananas to me. I don't know if that's just people just review bombing it just to bomb it, or if people are really that upset about it. Because I do feel like I have seen a lot of very vocal people. But I do also, again, want to give WWE just the slightest benefit of the doubt that Triple H will see just the pushback and say, guys, maybe we got to change course, or at least if not change course, come up with the creative storyline and direction that will really make this all work out and right at the end of the day. But it really,
WrestleMania 30 all over again, triple threat.
that's where I'm, I want to see Cody just stand up and be like, you know what, F this, man, I'm gonna be in this main event with you, Roman, because I want this title, and insert himself even when he doesn't necessarily need to, or just insert himself against the will of others. That would be rather interesting. So I don't know, again, that's why I'm trying to keep a sliver of benefit of the doubt that things certainly might change, but we'll see, and we'll definitely continue to keep you guys posted. But yeah, any final thoughts on this, Datila?
I just hope we get somewhat of a decent match, main event match, because I would honestly feel bad for everybody in attendance if they don't get, I'm not expecting a 5-star match, but a decent match at least.
Yeah, as long as the story is there, as long as they do a proper build up leading up to WrestleMania and the story is there, if it gets super personal between these two, I definitely do think there'll be certainly some intrigue there. But look, guys, let us know your thoughts at the end of the day. How do you feel about this? Look, you guys might be on the side of like, yeah, Rocky, Rocky. Like maybe you guys want to see it. We clearly both want to see it. We just think that the timing, the execution of it is just pretty terrible. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is business as normal, Adam? No big deal. The Rock deserves this based off of all his accomplishments. Maybe you feel that way. Definitely go ahead and let us know in the comment section box below, because at the end of the day, these are just our A+ opinions. We always want to know yours. So let your thoughts be known down below, guys. But other than that, Datila, I think we'll see you and Josh. Hopefully, we're trying to get Josh on here, but he is busy this weekend. But we'll definitely see you guys in our next WrestleManiacs podcast video. Until then, do us a big favor, y'all. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. We'll talk to
Bye.
you later.